Hello, and welcome to Corrected Perception, my podcast where I bring my daily issues to my spirit guides and receive some inner wisdom. Intuitive therapy. I like that definition too. So, lately I have been guided, for a long time actually, to change some habits around food and daily routine, and this is something that does not come naturally for me. So I would like to get some perspective from my higher self about implementing that and any other wisdom around that. So dear God and benevolent and compassionate guides, please speak to me about habit changes, especially around the morning and any other perspectives, energetic shifts that would be beneficial for making habit changes to improve lifestyle and health. Dear Kelly, thank you for taking the time to reach out to your higher self and receive guidance on this topic. We know that you struggle with this. You are someone who operates from a place of triage, growing up in an environment where stress was normal and you learned how to operate that way out of necessity. And the shift that you are being called to make now is to move into preparation, to laying the groundwork for success, to tending the soil of a routine that will lead to all of the goals that you have for your life. And we did begin to give you the concept of a garden, how tending to the soil of the garden will improve the health of the plants that you grow. And in the same way as you tend to your health, so too will your body become healthier. And there is no right or wrong way to do this. It simply begins with intention. It can happen at any time. It doesn't have to be in your morning. It doesn't have to be an action. Actually, the most powerful place to begin is in your thoughts and in your mind. And as long as you are reminding yourself through intention that this is your priority, that you know this is where you need to begin, then you will be guided on a moment-by-moment basis what the right actions are. And so really that is the place to begin, is through continuous intention. And then, just like this, you will be guided on the actions. So it is a good idea to put things in your calendar so that you are triggered, so that at one point of your day you may have the thought to do something, and that clearly on the other end of your day you'll have the opportunity to act on it. And to be reminded on the other end of your day of what you were thinking early on, you need some sort of trigger. You need some reminder. You need some catalyst to get you to go there. So what are these? A calendar, a phone reminder, making an appointment to meet a friend, to go for a walk, or so you do need, it's a sort of accountability, but not a forced accountability, not something that you'd feel guilty if you didn't show up for. It's just a way to create some continuity throughout your day as you're consciousness shifts from one area to another throughout your day. So whatever you can think of to create that for yourself is beneficial. And routine is great. And we know that you don't like routine. For some reason, to your spirit, routine feels like jail, because it feels like you're not going to be able to be spontaneous. However, there is a place for routine in freedom as well. Routine creates a rhythm, and your body likes rhythms. Your body likes predictability, because then it can prepare for what's coming up next, because your mind knows what to expect. Your physiology learns what to expect. Children love routine because they can look forward to things. Things feel more predictable, and they can trust that there is some known in the world. It's not all just chaos and confusing if there's no routine, you know. Without routine, they feel confused, and they're dependent on you to constantly tell them what is coming up next and what to expect. Whereas when there's routine, then they're given some responsibility, and then they learn pride in themselves through knowing what to expect and taking the steps to be prepared without you having to say something ahead of time. And I just need to pause for a minute, because I'm experiencing something different in this channeling. Like my mind feels really different. And I'm not sure what it is. I'm just going to note that. It feels like there's like texture in my third eye, like not really that you can touch, but more a visual, lots of visual stuff going on in my mind's eye, that isn't usually present, and it feels very congested, but it also feels like, just like I can't ignore it, you know? So anyway, the message isn't just coming verbally. It's more of a feeling with this, kind of just looks like a cloudy, but like pixely kind of cloudy. So there's a little bit of geometry to it. But anyway, I just want to note that. So anyways, back to the channeling. So kids like predictability and routine. And so my inner child will also will benefit from routine. So this isn't something that I, Kelly, am going to need to take on immediately. All of the suggestions that come from the spirit realm are meant to be taken with a grain of salt. It's a hunch. It's a nudge into the direction of a certain way. It's kind of like this is a suggestion, and as I continue to go about my day, I will consider that suggestion as I'm making decisions about what I do in my morning. Because one of the problems that I'm finding with changing my habits is just really craving the comfort of, coffee with a pastry. And then this thought will occur to me, well, that's fine, as long as it has its place, as long as it's limited to that and doesn't grow into like too much pastry, or another dessert and another dessert, like for the rest of the day, a couple more times throughout the day. So there is a place for the comforts that we have, but there's also a place for like the nice healthy bowl of greens and the lean proteins. There's a place for exercise and there's a place for relaxation. That it's okay that everything can come in there as long as there's balance. And so these fears that I have that I'm going to have to give up, that's one thing that holds me back. Another thing is that there's a lot of stress in my life that I use those comforts to overcome, and it doesn't, learning how to deal with that stress two things have come up recently to learn to deal with that stress. One is redefining the stressor. So if I think my kids, if I constantly, when I'm walking around, I have 5 children, okay? And to me, when I say that, it just automatically defines my stressful life. And I think that might be something I need to redefine, because I do get a lot of joy out of my children. And I would like to be in a feeling place of my automatic reaction to the thought of my kids being the joy and the abundance that I feel from them, because other people probably do have their own version of abundance in their life, and part of me really wants relaxation. But there's another part of me that knows that this is worth it. Okay, I had to pause, so I think I left off at redefining my kids as joyful aspects of my life, as abundance. And it's that simple. It's what was mentioned earlier about intention. I need to have a definition around my children that is foundationally including joy. And that is so true. They bring me much more joy than they do stress. Honestly, it's true. It's when I'm trying to escape the stress that I've defined them as that I find all of my misery. And so I'm just going to do like a little experiment and just replace the word stress with joy, even if it's not logical. I'm going to work on that. So, yeah, that is, I think that's a good place to start. Anyways, I feel like I just lost this when I got interrupted, and I can't really get back into it right now. So, this is definitely a topic that will need to be fleshed out with several other channelings, but I think this was maybe a good introduction to what I'm using to change my habits and the perspective that will assist with that. So anyways, I'm just going to send blessings out there to anyone who's listening to this, and namaste.